Hello everyone, welcome to the bonus episode for this week, and
Hello.
Today we are going to be doing listener questions. This is Conversation Street. I'm Gemma.
I am Michael. It's our 13th anniversary of Conversation Street, right this very day, isn't it, as we're recording? Happy anniversary to us.
Hooray.
This is our unlucky anniversary.
What are we going to do for it?
This, I don't know. Went to the Chinese supermarket earlier, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I have
We have a hot pot, but it's not the right sort.
No, I did change some of the photos on my Corrie wall behind us, so that's one thing I suppose. I thought that as I was sitting here getting ready today, I thought we probably should have done something especially related to number 13 for our 13th anniversary as we were recording today, but I didn't, I forgot. So yeah, listener questions it is, but it's still been a while since we've done one of these, hasn't it? So hopefully we have got a couple of good ones that we're going to be able to be pondering about just today. Who wants to read out the first one, Gemma?
I will.
Gemma's going to read out the first one. Who's this from?
This is from Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Who has been taking time off of being a lawyer on Coronation Street and writing.
That's why we've not
emails.
seen him so much recently.
Get your bum back on the screen, please. Thank you.
No, it's fine.
Adam says, if you had to name your child after a Coronation Street character, who would you choose?
I like how the wording of this question does sound like we have a child. We've just forgotten about it. Have we? Have I forgotten that we've got a child? Or we
Can
just
you
unnamed it
also
somewhere?
just rename them? And where's the cut-off?
Yeah, good point. A good point. So a child naming question. This is a good one. I understand more if it was like naming of animals and things. That's something that was a bit closer to our ballpark, isn't it?
I thought you were going to say, you said it presumes we have a child, but I thought it sounds as though there's some kind of edict that has been passed down from the government or something. You have to name your child after a Coronation Street character.
I don't know where the have to comes in here as
What's
well.
the
I mean,
penalty?
if we got Kate Brooks with a gun to our head saying,
Do it!
Yeah, I don't know. But for whatever reason it is, we're having a child and we've got to name it after a Coronation Street character. I don't think that's likely to come true, but it's not going to stop us from talking about it today. I mean, Spider... That's done, isn't it? Done and dusted. Spider Dodson.
Is Spider... Is
Curly.
Is Spider a unisex name?
Yeah, sure.
I think
Like
if
Ariadne is the girl version, I suppose.
I think if you were called Spider as a girl, I think you're very cool.
I don't...
But it's not his birth name.
But it doesn't matter. Well, I don't know. Do we have to say can't... I don't know. Are we doing serious answers or silly answers to this?
Well, it's difficult to say, isn't it? Because in real life, I don't think I would ever name my child after a Coronation Street character.
Oh, okay.
Why? What are you? Oh, you're like, oh no.
Well, I'm trying to think, because, our cat is called Abby. Yeah. And I think that we kind of did name her after Abby.
Yeah,
although the character had only been in the show like 8 episodes or so when we found when we got her, because Sally Carman joined the show and she was in it for a small handful of episodes and then she was off again. And I think when we got the cat, we were like, oh, remember Seb's mum who came in a bit last year? Let's give her the same name.
I don't remember now.
And she's now over 500 episodes strong.
But also, I got my parents to name their dogs.
Oh yes, yeah. Your parents' current dogs are named Jack and Annie after the Walkers, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's not been unknown for us to do it with animals.
And then also, embarrassingly, a few weeks after, our next door neighbours had a baby, and they called him Jack. And now every so often I'll be in the garden going, Jack, no, get down, Jack's done a poo. And I think they think I'm shouting at their baby.
Such a common name. I mean, timeless. I know we do have at least one Jack as a listener.
I like Jack. I think it's a really solid, good name.
I know. It's a little bit common though, isn't it? No offence. I don't know whether we're going to be able to get through this segment without offending somebody.
You're going to offend everybody. But listen, I do not mind common English names. I am a very traditional person. I love all the classics. I love Elizabeth. I love James. I love William. All those proper...
I think I do too. I don't know what we're going to end up with here. It might just be one of these segments where we don't make a decision in the end. I think the proviso is that we can't just say we like the name and we just won't tell anybody that they're named after a Coronation Street character. I think we actually have to be naming them after this character as well, just to add a little bit more fun to it.
That would never happen.
Well, it might. It doesn't matter for the purpose of this. It doesn't matter. We just need to pretend, okay? Do you think? Would you like to have a name that kind of screams Corrie straight away, but or do you want one that could be passed? You know, we could say, oh yeah, they're named after so and so in Corrie, or do you want one that somebody, because like some name, if you were to call your child Toya, for example, I think someone's going to go, oh, like off Corrie, and then you know, because Toya's not the most common name. I mean, I think it's her and Toya Wilcox, isn't it? I think
funny.
she was actually named after Toya Wilcox, and the Coronation Street had to write to her to say, we're planning on naming a character this, is that okay?
It's funny because the other very distinctive name is Chesney, and he's also named after Chesney Hawkes.
Yeah, there's a few names that...
Why isn't there a Madonna?
Well, exactly.
Why isn't there a Lady Gaga?
We've got like Raquel. That as a name kind of screams Corrie to me, because you don't hear many of those these days. Or even something like Tyrone as well. Both that you know, I think straight away, if you called somebody that, if you called a baby that, people would know. Would you want that?
Given our background, they would all guess immediately. If you called your kid any major character of Corrie, they would know immediately. I think the biggest one would be Ken.
Yes.
But
yeah.
Can you imagine us calling our child Kenneth?
Well, he was properly Kenneth for the first few years of the show, wasn't he?
I don't like Nick. Like, I'm very a stickler for, you can't call your child a nickname.
Yeah.
You have
no,
to
I was going to ask
kid.
like whether you've got any sort of provisos or particular preferences. So you like traditional names. Mm-hmm. You don't like a nickname.
No, I think it's cheating. If you're some nicknames are only nice because, like, the original name is horrible. You know, there are so many horrible names that have got really nice shortened versions. But you've got to take the rough with the smooth. You can't pretend.
Okay, so you're not. We can't christen this child Bet. Or
but Elizabeth's better than Bet, I'm afraid. Elizabeth is one of my favourite names.
Yeah, but I don't think that we could go for Elizabeth with this.
Why? Because
give me a character. No, but exactly. If we're naming this after this child after a Coronation Street character, and we're saying, oh, we're going to name it Elizabeth because there's Bet and Betty and Liz. No, that's not good enough for naming them after them.
No, what's his face called her Elizabeth.
Yeah, I know, but she's not Elizabeth.
Her name is Elizabeth.
I know it is, but you can't say I'm naming it after Liz McDonald, but not calling it Liz.
Whatever you want. You can just make up whatever rules you want then.
Anyway, Elizabeth's one of your middle names, and that's well, I suppose that's not an uncommon thing to do. I don't know what parents do, not being one.
Elizabeth was also the Queen's name.
I know.
Loads of girls my age have got Elizabeth in their name.
I just think that that's a bit of a cop-out if you're saying I'm naming it after a Coronation Street character, Elizabeth, and people would go, huh? And then you'd have to explain.
You go mind your own business if you don't understand the reference.
Maybe you should have just said that to Adam when he sent the question in.
Mind your own business.
Nothing to do with you, what we call our child.
Now, how many middle names, and are they all Coronation Street related? Because I'm a big fan of two.
What do you mean?
2 middle names.
What? Oh, you want to give...
Yeah, I'd always give my child 2 middle names.
Is that all the best, what the best people have?
Yes.
I thought you were going to say there were people's middle names. We talked about this the other week. We're going to call our child Sibelius after Ashley Peacock.
Yeah.
Or...
Laverne.
Yeah.
After Toya.
Oh, what about Norris?
No. Are we having a boy or a girl?
I think we probably need to come up with a boy's name and a girl's name at the end of this.
I don't want a boy.
Are there any... so you're not having a shortened name. You're not. Are there any names that you can think of where straight away you're thinking, no, don't like that? Or,
Loads.
Are there any characters where it's like, I couldn't name it after that character because I just wouldn't want to be reminded of them. So I know we've all... Don't know Tim or Timothy. No Bobby. But I suppose both of those do fall into the category of you don't like a shortened name to be christened with.
I wouldn't think of... honestly, if I thought of Robert, I would think of the one that got shot outside the Rovers.
Yes.
Not Rob Donovan or Bobby.
Yeah, there have been a few, haven't there?
But, and also, sorry Bobby, but when I hear Bobby Corrie, I think of the cat before you.
Well, I'm sure that the cat will leave a longer lasting impression than
Sunny Jim.
Sunny Jim Dodson.
Yeah.
Or Cox.
Well, look.
Whose surname is this child going to have?
Why don't we pick a surname from Coronation Street?
And then it can be nothing to do with us.
Why don't we call our child, what did you say? Sunny Jim Warren.
I didn't say
after
that.
Tony Warren.
I mean, What about names that were named?
That would really throw people off, wouldn't it? Because everyone always goes on like, oh, if you keep your name, then what will your children do? Oh, if you double barrel, then what if your children marry to double? Like, they're always worrying about hypothetical nonsense that hasn't happened. But you can completely throw them off the hook, off the scent by saying, oh no, our child will have a completely different surname from us.
What? Then we could use Warren's surname as a first name, couldn't you?
But then you think of Warren, the stupid footballer.
Well, Warren Baldwin. He wasn't so bad second time round watch, to be honest.
If you say
I don't know whether that would work. I mean, you could say Tony after Tony Warren, but then you'd be more thinking of the likes of Tony Stewart and Tony Gordon, wouldn't you? I think we need to go first names only.
Here's a good one for Americans, because I know you guys are charmingly eccentric when it comes to names, and you like using surnames for first names. And this is a popular name I've heard, Tanner.
Tanner? Do people get called that as their first name?
Yeah. Now that's a proper classic. That covers all the bases.
Yeah, I don't think that suits us though.
I can't imagine myself standing in the garden going, Tanner, come in for your dinner.
The other problem that I have, and I think I would have, were we to be blessed with children, is I don't know whether I'd want to name it after a child that I've taught once.
Yeah, well, that's all out then, isn't it?
I know. There's lots of names of children, and I mean, maybe it wouldn't be so bad if it was a really top of the class kind of child. But I don't know whether I think do teachers have this problem? They say, oh, I can't call them that because there's this
annoying kid,
bit of a naughty child that was called that once, and that's going to possibly cross a lot off of my list as well.
Well, we had this when we were trying to come up with cat names, because we always have female cats. And,
always, all two of them.
Well, all right. And so we were trying to think of names, and half of them you didn't like because you had a kid in your class called that, and half of them I went to school with somebody and I thought she was a bitch.
Yeah. So we're going to have to cut. I will name no names with that one, but
because I went to an all-girls school.
I think in real life that would be quite an important thing to consider.
Yeah, you don't want to have PTSD.
I thought it might be interesting actually to have a look at the top 10 names list of 2024 and see if there's any Corrie names in here.
This was our private conversation.
We did have a private conversation about this when we were in France. I think this came out, didn't it? And there's a couple. So in the top 10, at number 2, believe it or not, we've got Noah.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that was such a popular name these days. I think I've taught one. But Noah Headley, the notorious... We couldn't name a child after him, could we now?
No, but I will say that I think there's, to involve class a little bit here, there are many middle class names on the top 10 lists that Corrie would never have. Like, I don't think you get a main character calling their kid some of these proper tweed, but they're mostly girls' names, the proper tweed ones, aren't
Some
they?
Some of them are. So we've got...
Just to be clear, I really love the proper tweed ones. I'm just going to say
in the top 10 boys' names of last year that share names with coronation street characters in the UK. Number 3, you got Oliver, as in Oliver Battersby.
Oh, don't forget him.
I think you'd have to be doing a lot of wood touching if you were naming a child after that one.
It's a bit of a faux pas to forget him, isn't it?
Yes. Oh yeah, they did that last week, didn't they? Leo is in there at number 5, as in Leo Tompkins, Jenny's. All of these characters are dead. Well, maybe that's not true. One of them I wish. Yeah, Theodore is at number 9. And George is in George Shuttleworth is at number 6 or 7 or something as well. So
Theodore is one of those ones where I muchly prefer Theo.
Oh.
But now I hate that name.
Yeah, a story can really put you off a character, really name, couldn't it?
Every time I hear that name now, I'm just my hand will turn into a fist.
I do quite like the name Oliver. I don't think that
I do. I love that name.
I think that if we were to have a child, I think I'd probably look at the top 10 list and just automatically say no. I don't think I'd want one. I don't know. What would you think? Would you want a child that had a common name? Likely to share their name with someone in their class?
If you get too clever with it, you end up they can never find their name anywhere.
What do you mean?
Well, like, let's go to Disneyland. Here's a plastic mouse ear with your name on it, but it's not your name. Because
I can't believe they got Tanner.
But they don't have Arthur.
They've got Bort as well over here.
I love Bort.
Yeah, so I don't know. None of those. I don't think there's anywhere in the top 10 where I'd say, oh yeah, that's a really great Corrie character. I mean, I do like George, I suppose, but
I like George as well.
I'm not such a fan of that.
Obviously, that's a shortened as well. Short for Georgina.
No, don't be so ridiculous. Archie was at number 10 as well as an Archie Shuttleworth.
But see, Archie is we had this conversation. And we trying to see what it was short for, other than Archibald. If there were any other ones it's short for, because Archie, great. Archibald, horrific.
Yeah, I agree.
Just so
sorry,
you know,
Archibald listeners.
Yeah, I'm sorry if it offends you, but you're probably not called Archibald, are you? You're probably called Archie.
Yeah, I think that naming a character after Archie that would be quite nice.
No, but I couldn't do
everybody loves Archie Shuttleworth, don't they?
I couldn't do it.
Just because it's a shorter name.
No, I couldn't do it.
Why?
It goes against every fibre of my being.
Okay. I also, I had a guinea pig called Archie when I was little. Because I was literally obsessed with the name Archie when I was a little boy. And I don't know why. I don't know. It might have been that Archie's...
The
comic, yeah, or the cartoon.
I can't believe you ever read that.
No, I had no idea. I think there was a cartoon series of it that I quite liked. And
Did you ever want to watch Riverdale?
No. And so I think I went through a stage at school where I'd name characters in the stories that I was writing Archie, and then eventually we got this ginger guinea pig called Archie as well. So okay, we're not feeling much inspiration from the top 10 names for Corrie names at least. Top 10 girls names this year.
Can we just go through them? Let's go through the top 10. So the top 10 UK ones are Mohammed, Noah, Oliver, I need to say Olivier, Oliver, Arthur, Leo, George, Luca,
Luca Toolin,
Theodore, Oscar, terrible name, and Archie.
I don't think there's been any characters with those other names. Girls-wise, you've got Olivia, Amelia, Lily, Isla, Ivy, Florence, Freya, Poppy, Ava, and Elsie.
And sorry, but those are all the most middle class, plummy, and I love all of. What one do I not like? Those are all great. I love all of those.
See, I like that Elsie's in there at number 10.
Honestly,
I think that
was on my list.
I don't think that would be a bad call, actually.
Elsie is a gorgeous name.
I know
It must be, is it not short for Elizabeth as well?
I don't think so. Maybe it is. I did say that I didn't necessarily want to go with one for the top 10 because I don't want to be, I don't want to be too fashionable. But I do like the name Elsie, and I like how it's seemingly coming back into fashion because, back 10, 20 years ago, you would not call a child Elsie, would you? That's an old lady's name. But there seems to be a bit of a resurgence in that these days, isn't there? Calling children kind of granny-ish names, or great-granny-ish names, I suppose it would be these days, because they all go in cycles. You've got your traditional ones that never seem to go out of fashion, like your Jacks that you were saying earlier. But I don't know, would you fancy calling a child something like Ina or Phyllis or Maud or something like that after one of the traditional or the classic Corrie battle axes? Hilda. That's what Jenny McAlpine called one of her kids, didn't she?
Also, my quail was called Hilda.
Oh yes, we did have a quail called Hilda. That's true. So I don't know whether we have to veto that as an ex-pet's name. Do you like the idea of the old lady names coming back into fashion? Would you go down that route? Blanche?
No, not Blanche.
No,
because we say it 2 different ways for a start.
That is true. They wouldn't know what their name is.
Would be like, what is my name? Am I Blanche or am I Blanche? Sorry, kid, we don't know.
That's a very good point. I didn't consider that. But what do you think about the old lady names or old man names? You could have a Percy or an Albert.
The old man names are quite the same as the old lady names. I think women's names have more of a fashion.
Yeah, but we do have Arthur back as the number 4 top boy's name, and I would say that Arthur's a bit more of an old man's name now.
Arthur Lowe.
Well, I know, yeah, we can't
See, I think William after William Roach would be a good one.
I know, but we got to name him after a character.
Is it not weird that there hasn't been a prominent William?
No, there hasn't been a prominent William, but there was William Mallet, wasn't there? William and Rebecca.
Yeah, William and Rebecca. Yeah.
Stayed in the show for all the 6 months.
Rebecca's another great name.
There's been a Rebecca in Coronation Street, I'm sure, hasn't there? But
I really like Rebecca.
Can't remember who, and I think we do need to go with main characters here. Would you?
Irma.
Do you like Irma?
We couldn't call our kid Irma because it makes it like I said before many times, it will go with a surname to make it if it's a noun, you're in trouble, and you can't guarantee if your daughter might want to change her name when she gets married. She marries a noun man, she's gonna be, a dog or what?
Okay.
Blacksmith.
What about? Are we having to, going back to thinking we've got a huge pool of Corrie names to go from still, even though there have been lots of vetoes so far. Are we discounting automatically names that aren't tied to our culture? So, could we have an Imran, or could we have an Alia, or would that not work for us, do you think? I think it might get some raised eyebrows.
You're getting into dangerous waters here a little bit, I think. I can't imagine Muhammad as our son. No. I also think that would be a bit rude, because other people have got a better stake on it than we do, don't they?
This is true.
Is it cultural appropriation? I would say yes.
Maybe. We didn't actually go through the girls' lists, did we?
For example, Naomi... I never realised Naomi is a Japanese name, because loads of girls, our age, are called Naomi.
Yeah.
But it is a Japanese name, so it's funny that particular name managed to make it over here, but there are loads of other names that if you had a Japanese name, it would kind of make everyone would be confused when you turned up and you were just a white girl.
It is funny how names kind of, you get names that go in decades, don't you? Because there are so many names that were common when we were at school that you just don't hear of anymore. Yeah. Like, Gemma wasn't completely uncommon. Michael was in the top 10 in the year that I was born,
Gemma
and no one's
popular.
called Michael anymore.
It's not popular now. Thank God.
I feel like in real life, if I wanted to pick a name for a child, I would be more likely to go with one that was popular when we were younger.
I think that's what happens though, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
And also, quite a lot of people, I think we were reading this article, was it on the BBC, about these names?
Yeah.
And some of the parents were like, I thought I was being clever calling my child Amelia, because nobody else called their kid that, and then turned out everyone did. Freya's been popular for about 15 years now.
Yeah, that's come out of nowhere, hasn't it? So the other...
No, it hasn't come out of nowhere. It's been popular for about 15 years.
Yeah, but I'm saying when we were little, we never heard any Freyas.
No, but I remember going on the ferry when we were, before we got married, and somebody going, Freya, come back here, Mummy wants to give you a biscuit. So
it's funny, so Boysworth, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, we had 6 Corrie names in the top 10, but I believe there's only 4 Corrie names in the top 10 of girls. So you got Lily, as in Lily Platt. We're not naming our child after Lily Platt, especially with the new head swap, and we don't know what we're getting.
When I think of Lily, I think Lily Potter.
Yes, very true.
And I think dead.
So Lily was at number 3. Number 5, Ivy, like I said. So Ivy is in Ivy Tilsley / Brennan.
Poison Ivy.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, but I think of...
the actual plant.
What's her name? No.
Not the character.
No, the character.
The Batman villain.
Who played her? Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman.
I think of Uma Thurman with red hair.
I don't think that calling your child after Ivy... great as a character as she is, I don't think that's... So what is it, Mum, that you really liked about Ivy that made you... Well, I loved how much of a harridan she was, and I loved how difficult she made girls' life.
It's funny how the name Ivy really fit her too, because she was so smothering and hard to get rid of.
Yeah, and yet she wasn't like that when she first came into the show at all, was she? She grew into her name. She tendrilled up into it. We've also got number 8, you got Poppy, and there haven't been very many prominent Poppies in Coronation Street, but there was Poppy Morales, who was a barmaid there for a year or so back in the late 2000s, and then Elsie, like we said. I'm not saying no to Elsie as a girl's name.
I really like Elsie. That was on my list.
Yeah. So what else have we got? Would you like to name it after a character that you really liked?
No.
Would there be a risk that they could
turn?
No, and you could say, I used to really like so and so I named my kid after them. But then they got really dull or boring, or the actor got into hot water over something. I don't know. It is a bit of a risk, isn't it?
Really liked so and so before the allegations.
But you have got your...
That's why you wait for him to die.
Or at least, for the characters to leave.
No, you wait for them to die.
What would you characters that we both...
I'm going to call my son Len Fairclough.
Len.
even despite the allegations. No, his surname is Fairclough. No, his middle name is Fairclough.
Right, okay.
Len Fairclough Dodson.
I'm looking at characters that we both enjoyed over the years, and we were both fans of Dennis Tanner. And do you like Dennis as a name?
Tanner Dennis.
No, just Dennis. We're looking for first names at the moment.
Why?
Would you want to call your son Dennis?
No.
I don't like the sound of that name.
Sorry,
no
everybody.
offense, Dennis. I don't need to.
We're just going to say out
preemptive. No offense.
Just.
See, for my milkman was called Dennis when I was growing up.
It sounded like you said your milk mum.
Milkman. And so I
Normally
would be
called your mum.
I'd be thinking of the milkman every time I called my child Dennis. I don't think it goes.
What about if it was French?
Denis?
Yeah.
No, not named after Corrie then, was it? You got any particular ones? I did send you a list of Corrie names earlier. Just if you need your memory.
You literally sent it to me about 5 seconds before we sat down to record.
Yeah, no, I like to keep you on your toes. What about I think I quite like Emily for a girl. Do you like that? I know you've got a friend called No, you're not a fan of Emily?
No, because people call me Emily. I get called Emily and Jenny and Emma and Gemma.
Who calls you Emily?
Crazy man I used to work with used to call me Emily. I really like Concepta as a middle name because I think middle name's got to be slightly weird, isn't it? It's got to be like
mine's not
apologetically some kind of weird family name that your great uncle would only let you have the family silver if you promised to call your kid.
Your family did have a mini tradition of having Thomas as a middle name, didn't it?
Yeah.
But we're out of that.
Got out of that one, didn't
somebody else got in there first. And my middle name's John, and that's as bog standard as you like, isn't it? Michael John is a classic pairing.
I really wanted you to take my surname when we got married, and you'd be J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox, yeah. Cox, I mean, yeah, exactly. Who did you just say?
Don't know.
Concepta. But yeah, I wouldn't want that as a first name, but middle name maybe.
No, Concepta as a first name makes you sound a bit balmy.
Yeah.
In this area.
In this country, maybe.
Well, this area of the country would. There's not very much influence of like Ireland or Scotland here, really.
What do you think of Peter? Because that's a solid.
It's my uncle's name.
Oh yeah, of course it is, isn't it? Because that's a name that's many years old. That's
Peter also sounds like it's short for something. So where's the rest of it?
Saltpeter.
Is your middle name not St. John?
No. What about Tracy? That's a proper 80s name, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite time for Tracy to come back into fashion again. And also I think that naming our child after someone who's got away with murder is just going to give them ideas, really, isn't it?
You got to be careful
precocious madam she'd grow into.
About how many names we reveal our family names because
they're going to track us down.
People might use it to open our bank accounts and stuff.
See, I don't mind Jack too much, but
I really like Jack.
But yeah, as you say, we have got a dog in the family called Jack, and I don't know whether that would cause issues there. What about
Eunice? Sounds like a toilet cleaner.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go with Eunice.
I don't like. Kimberly. That's the name I was thinking of. That was a very 80s name.
Kimberly is, as in Kimberly Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. You barely even know the character, so we
used to have a dog called Kim.
Right, did you?
Yeah, and she was around the same time as another dog I was thinking of yesterday, and she was called Sue, and we used to call her Sue the Pooh because she was very angry all the time.
Debbie?
Deborah.
Oh yeah, you'd have to go with Deborah, wouldn't you?
One of my favourite movies.
So you wouldn't want to go with Jenny Bradley either, would you? Because you'd have to call it Jennifer. Yeah,
but no, I don't mind Jennifer. But again, like I said, I get called I've been called Jennifer.
Yeah. Okay. There's so many characters just looking down this list that are known by shorter names, and if that's something that you vetoed, then we're a bit stuck. What about?
No, but you can.
How about Oh no, you've got a cousin David, haven't you?
I
so
do.
You couldn't call him after David Platt.
No.
I don't know. Fred? No, because he was Frederick. What about Daniel? I don't mind Daniel.
Well, I don't know if you know this.
What?
But when I was in middle school, I had a boyfriend called Daniel.
What is that? Oh, we need to talk about this later. Okay.
So no.
Definitely no for that. Royston.
Simon.
No, you can't name a child after Simon Barlow. Nobody likes him.
Lucy? No.
No, because we want to pick a name where we've got some like
Beverly.
positive. Yeah, we really love that character,
Bev.
and that character is a.
I don't think I think. Oh, I don't know.
What about Ashley?
No,
As in Ashley Peacock?
because I'm adamant that's a girl's name.
It can be. We can't get to the end of this and have poor Adam saying, sorry, we don't know.
Yes, we do. We do.
Pull out an answer there somewhere from what we said.
Elsie and Oliver.
Elsie and all. Is that, but no, but we can't. No, we can't pick our boy's name just because we like the name. It's got to be about liking the character. We can't say we've named you after a child who died when he was 5.
No, excuse me. I've named you after a creepy AI generated child that lives on forever. So thank you, lucky stars.
Named you after AI Ollie.
Yeah. Maybe we can call him AI Ollie, and then the government will have to get involved. You know how every year they're like, "I'm sorry, you cannot call your kid that."
Fizz.
Fiona's all right.
I don't mind.
What's Molly short for?
I don't think that's.
Maleficent.
I don't think that's short for anything. Looking down my list.
Jonathan. John.
For after who?
John Stape.
John. No, because that's my middle name, isn't it?
So what?
You can't. I don't want to call my
Elizabeth's
child.
my middle name, but I would call my kid Elizabeth.
I wouldn't.
Well, we'll have separate ones then.
I think this is a really tricky question. What about Graham, but spelt the Graham Proctor way? Oh no, I've got an Uncle Graham, haven't I?
What about Graham, spelled Greyham?
No, don't be so ridiculous.
Just to be fun.
Pat, after Pat Phelan.
Patrick.
No. This is too tricky.
I've done mine now.
Well, I'll go with that if you want. I mean, I'm just.
How about you said would we name a child a name that's not in our culture? If we're going to do that, then I say Dev.
Devendra.
These are our children, Elsie and Devendra.
Yeah, what have we got? How about calling it Phil with 2 L's?
And they're like, okay, how do you spell that? And you say PHILWITH, and then the number 2.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Scooter.
Yes, Scooter McCuna. That could be their name. Scooter McCuna. Tony Warren.
I don't know. This is too hard. This is far too hard. Why are you? Elsie and Oliver, you're going.
Okay,
with.
well, what boy's name would you pick then?
The boys' ones are the hardest.
Well, you're the man, so you get to pick the boy, and I get to pick the girl. You said Archie. Let's call it Archie and Elsie.
Elsie.
That's a proper twee little middle class family, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I have gone back on my idea of not wanting to go in the top 10, but I do quite like both of those names. I don't know whether Archie would be one that I'd regret.
There's also the royal connection, of course.
Oh yes, of course.
Because before it was Meghan and Harry's firstborn son, it was also the code name that Prince George went by when he was out in public.
Oh, what about Lewis, as in Lewis Archer?
But would you spell it Louis or would you spell it Lewis?
No, I'd spell Lewis. I'd have to spell it as in the Lewis if it was named after Lewis Archer. Ooh, man.
You're not giving yourself any leeway.
I'm not at all. Ardy. Love him. Vernon. I don't know. Pull out an answer somewhere in there. We've been talking for half an hour about
I've done
this
mine.
Now. Gemma's done hers, and I kowtow down to her better judgment. And
we know that if there was any debate whatsoever about if we're having a baby, if there's any debate, you know that I get final say because I made it.
I do know this. Yeah, 100% Gemma made Ravy here. Mm-hmm. No input from me whatsoever.
No, you didn't do any of it. You just gave me the roadmap and I built it myself.
There we go. So we got Archie and Elsie is our answer to this, with a couple of other possibilities as well, because Jack wasn't too bad.
Like Jack, let's say Jack's not too bad.
No, just
would Walker be Walker? Would that be a boy's name in America, or is that too obscure?
Should we go on to the next question? I think we've pondered this one for far too long. Are you ready for question number 2?
Right.
This one comes from Leah, and she sent this one back in.
No one's been called Leah. Have you noticed that, Leah?
No, we've got Leanne. That's close. Leah said, "Using a character you dislike, what storyline would you choose for them?"
This was hard. This was too hard.
Right, you're not allowed to look at what I've wrote on the screen here because it's got all my ideas, and I want to go back and forth with some ideas for you here. I mean, I suppose it's so basically what Leah's asking us here is, what storyline would we give a character that we don't like? Now, our choices, I suppose...
That was literally the question.
I know. I'm just kind of... What that could mean, if we were feeling very mean-spirited, was how would we kill off the characters that we don't like?
I like this.
I don't know which route you went down with this, but I went more...
You told me I had to think of nice things, but I couldn't think of anything.
I did end up going down the route of... I don't like not liking characters, but I have gone down the route of desperately trying to come up with things that might make me like this character a little bit more. But it's hard. Like, with characters, is it the character that you don't like, or is it just the story that you don't like that they're in? I don't know. How easy did you find it to come up with characters that you didn't like first?
Well, first of all, I was like, I don't hate anyone except him. And then I was like,
even then, you know,
I am
really.
such a magnanimous and benevolent viewer.
Yeah.
So loyal and true.
Course.
And I'm so fair-minded that I don't mind anybody, really. And then I went through the list of characters and I was like, yeah, I don't like them, don't like them, don't like them.
I went through... See, Corrie's... The period of time that Coronation Street's going through at the moment, and I'm not actively loving the show right now. There's not so many stories that I'm really like, oh, I love this story, I can't wait. There's more sort of, oh, let's get this affair out of the way, oh, let's get this character gone. But then equally, I don't think there's many characters that I don't really like. I'm just not excited when they come on the screen, and I'm not enjoying their... Like, you know... I don't hate Steve. I just, when he goes into his stupid Homer Simpson mode, I'm just like, oh, God, come on, you used to be better than this. I mean, maybe my answer for Steve would be just give him a story that's not making him out to be the stupid middle-aged buffoon that he's turned into.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you've got characters like Sarah, for example, who I don't love her, but equally I definitely don't hate her. There's some characters that I really, really, really love. Like Glenda's there on the list at the moment. Jenny, obviously. Ardy, I think I'll unconditionally love. But I think as time's gone on, there's been fewer characters that I would say I unconditionally love them. I don't know. Have you found that over the years? Has your love for certain characters waned?
Well... that's a weird way of posing the question.
Well, I'm just asking a different kind of slightly tangentially related question.
My love for certain characters hasn't really changed because I consistently like the ones I like. But on the whole, if you're asking me what character... If in general I like the cast, the characters more or less than I used to, I'd say probably less now. Because I think there are a lot more greyer characters in the show than there used to be. But I'm also going to say that I think those sorts of characters are really important for the show, and any kind of redemption storyline that makes them likeable is kind of going to ruin the purpose of their character.
But you can like a character that is still a villain.
Yeah, I know.
Because go on.
I think there's a difference between being an antagonist and a villain.
You got characters that you can love to hate.
Yeah.
Like everybody, you know, you hate Phelan, but we still loved him. But
I didn't hate Phelan.
I know, okay. But there are some characters that are supposed to get under your skin, and they do, and you kind of love them for it. So, but I wouldn't say that that's the kind of character that we're going for here. And I don't know whether there's really many people on the cast at the moment, or characters on the list at the moment, that I think would fit into that category anyway. You've also got your characters that are just a little bit kind of underused and dull, like the in inverted commas dead wood that people talk about on the forums, like Kirk and Izzy. And I wouldn't say that I don't like Kirk and Izzy. They're really at the low end of my list of characters that I can possibly get any enthusiasm for. Yeah,
but I get what you're saying.
But I was able to fish out a handful of characters that I would say at the moment, yeah, I really don't like them, and I think Corrie is supposed to want me to like them more than I actually do. And so those are the ones that I went for, and most of them, to be fair, are relatively recent characters. Yeah. So and then this is difficult as well, because I don't know, is it just we've not been given a chance to get to know them and like them yet? But then on the flip side to that, you can get some characters who instantly, when they come into the show, you can say, I want you to stay forever, like we had with Sam, like we had with Abby, although she's she's in my bad books at the moment. I tell you what, I'm struggling
She's a
to
hussy.
stay. I am very much struggling to stay an Abby fan at the moment through everything that she's going through in 2025. I will tell you that. But yeah,
We might have to get rid of the cat.
these other characters that I've got a few ideas for are ones that I think by now, if I was going to like them, that I probably would have done. But there is always chance for a redemption for everybody.
Yes.
And I'm trying to think. There must be some, like, characters like Kelly Nealon, for example. She had a bit of a turnaround for us. I wasn't fussed on her at all at the beginning, and by the time she got towards the end of her tenure, I did enjoy her a lot more. And there were a few others like that over the years that I've done a switch on. So I'm not giving up hope. I mean, do you wanna start the ball rolling with any ideas that you've had? Any characters you want to throw out there of ones you don't like, but here's how I could possibly like them or make them more watchable?
Yeah, Tim.
Okay, so you're going straight for Tim.
Yeah, straight for the jugular.
I don't actually believe that you don't like Tim.
I don't like Tim at all.
Okay, so what are you going to do for Tim to make him more likeable then?
Right, in case you haven't been around here very long, the reason I hate him is because he was mean. What was it, like 10 years ago, when Sally was the mayor and she was being stalked and harassed, and his solution was for her to stop being the mayor, and he basically blamed her for being the mayor and getting too much attention and causing a backlash, and
he's reined her in too much.
Blamed her for being a victim, basically, and everyone gives him a free ride for it. Nobody remembers this apart from me, apparently. But that was like, if you're talking about coercive control, there you go.
You can't say that Tim coercively controlled Sally.
He didn't like her being the mayor because he didn't like all the extra work and stuff she had to do. So as soon as she raised, her head above the parapet and somebody took aim at her, he's like, there you go, that's what you deserve for trying to have ideas above your station. Quit being a mayor and everything will go back to normal. He's such an oaf.
I think I've grown to enjoy his oafishness more over the years. Because I also went through a stage of not particularly liking Tim, but you've just kind of taken it on board and run with it, haven't you? But so what are you going to do
I'm a feminist.
You got to give me some serious answers here. You're at a board. You're at a Corrie pitch meeting. What are you doing to make Tim better for you? Even though most people I'm going to say are happy with the direction that Tim's going in.
One day they're both doing their tap foster parenting whatever training, which again, lazy ass that he is, making Sally do all the work. She's sitting there on the computer filling out the answers, and he's sitting there going, "Oh, I only just learned how to read.
Come on,
I can't possibly do this." Right, so he's actually doing some work for once. Put his thumb out his ass and get on with it. And he's going through and looking, and it's like part of it is like self-improvement. I don't know, I'm just making this up. Part of being a foster parent in Weatherfield has been self-improvement and recognising your past mistakes and how you can improve, right? So he realises he's been an absolute arsehole and an evil, nasty, terrible husband, and he apologises to Sally for ruining her life and making her not be the mayor, and then he helps her back on the campaign trail, and he supports her this time instead of laughing at her and thinking that she's an idiot. And he's really enthusiastic, and when people slag her off and things, he defends her and says that she'd be a great mayor and that she's brilliant.
So a bit of a redemption arc for him then.
That's the only way he can redeem himself.
Where he's being a bit more supportive.
Yes.
I wouldn't be adverse to that.
There's a difference, right? Being supportive is the absolute best, right? Actively sabotaging your wife's dreams because it slightly inconvenienced you, that is what he did.
Okay.
So the opposite of that, please.
I think with a lot of mine that I was thinking of, I was trying to put my finger on what it is that I don't like about the character, and then
then he catches on fire and dies.
Okay. Just can't let it go, can you?
Yeah,
so what don't I like about the character, and what can get them out of that? So like one of mine, unsurprisingly, I suppose, was Lauren. I don't know. Did you consider Lauren about ways?
She's on the list, yeah.
You're like, she's been in the show for 3 years maybe now, and I think she's one that I've changed opinion on because I've gone up and down a little bit, but I did quite like Lauren when she came in. Bizarrely, I quite liked her when she was part of that right-wing Nazi group with her dad and Max. But it's ever since then, and they've just turned her into the dumping ground for all things tragic. Frankie getting various ailments since he's been born, turning her into a murderer, turning her into a victim, and she's just so kind of sour-faced, chavvy and unlikable. And they are trying to turn a corner a little bit with her, or so I thought. I mean, putting her in The Rover's Return could be a bit of a change for her. But then they had that scene the other week with her slagging off Ardy in the middle of the street, and although I guess in some ways she was justified, it just got rid of any kind of affection that I might have been able to build up for her. But for Lauren, I think what's going to make her a more interesting character and likeable character for me is just to cheer her up, you know?
Right, so how's that going to happen? What's the storyline?
Either giving her a honest to good, genuine romance, not with somebody that's got a dark secret, but with just a... They don't do this so much in Coronation Street these days, putting people together just because it looks like they'd make a good couple. There always seems to have to be a story involved, isn't it? But I quite like her to just find a bloke who's really, honestly, genuinely a nice guy who will treat her well and take her out and buy her flowers, and maybe she's a bit hesitant at first and she's got some trust issues, I don't know.
Well, she's got even worse now. She feels like Ardy, betrayed her.
I know.
I know he didn't, but from her perspective currently, that's how she feels.
So something like that would be good. Or a friendship. I think I quite like the Betsy and Lauren dynamic, and the fact that
where'd that go?
That Kate and Sydney are good pals in real life.
What were they investigating?
They were investigating what's gone on with Becky Swain, weren't they? They were going to look into that, and then they've given that up for a Game of Soldiers. They were also, they went on that little jolly where they stole Tracy's van, which they managed to get away with. But I think that something fun like that, give them a bit of a mystery to solve, or something that you want to root for her to find the answer to, might be quite good for Lauren. Having an adventure, I don't know, or her finding a passion of some sort. Like, what's she really into that we can lean into and say, yeah, I support you in your, is she into fashion?
No.
Very tracksuits.
The fashion of Jimmy Savile.
Does she? Yeah. Does she get a shell suit stall in Weatherfield Market, and that's a new thing? I don't know.
Hear my idea for Lauren.
Yeah. Well, what do you think?
I don't. For me, and I'm not going to say this again because I don't see the purpose of it. But she's not. I don't really like her as a barmaid, and I'm not going to rag on her about it. Because I think that Kate Fitton is doing a really brilliant job of working to make the character, but it does feel a bit like she's not actually Lauren. Sometimes, like she might as well not be Lauren because that character that she is behind the bar,
the persona
feels very
that she
different.
puts on.
But I prefer her being a Saki Mardy cow, right?
I don't.
But when she was rude to Auntie.
Oh yeah, Auntie Rani.
Rani, that was her in her element, right? She needs to be. I don't want her to be miserable, but I don't need her to be happy and like wacky and whimsical.
Maybe I'd like her to be happy, but with that edge that you're talking about, the slightly sarky edge.
I don't know that she needs to be. Everyone's not happy all the time, right? My idea for Lauren is that she starts a cleaning business, right? She starts cleaning so she can clean the Rovers, because that is I don't know who does that at the moment, but that is a proper good job. It used to be Gail ages ago, and then she worked at the bistro, and now I don't think she does. I think
they've just got one of those little robot hoovers going around.
Well, it's hard to commute from France, so she probably doesn't do that anymore.
Possibly not.
But yeah, there isn't a cleaner of the Rovers. That way you get to keep Lauren in the Rovers, and she can still barmaid every now and then. I just think she's too marmitey to be a full-time barmaid. I think other people are better at that job. But what I would love her to do is to be a cleaner and then start her own cleaning business. Do you remember Connie? Do you remember Jack's Connie?
Yeah.
She was loaded. Do you remember? She lived in a mansion.
Yeah,
Everyone looked down on her because she was a cleaner, and they all thought she was after Jack's money. And then it turns out she lived in a mansion because she had a massive cleaning company that she, worked from.
Yeah.
Like, it's a hard work. First of all, it's a proper good working class job in a street where everyone's a lawyer.
Yeah.
At the moment, and also it's a job that you can make a lot of money at, and also importantly, it's a job where you can go in people's houses and there's a reason why she's there. Lauren could be hired by any character on the street. Oh, you know, having a party. Lauren, can you come and do your deep clean for me? Or Lauren's helping me organise my cupboard. Or, you know, Lauren could then get herself involved in so many different storylines, and she doesn't have to be happy all the time. And do you not think it would be hilarious, the sort of stuff that she would find? There could be so many comedy moments of her finding things and making faces and like looking down on people and being mad. And then when you want to get rid of her, if you want a leaving story, she just becomes incredibly successful and goes off and lives in a Connie mansion.
Yeah. See, I see, if I picture Lauren cleaning, she's just kind of scrubbing miserably.
Yeah, I know, but remember, her death was uncovered because of a dirty curtain. So maybe her passion is like to clean crime scenes. No, but seriously, I know what you mean. I can see her not being into it, but I can also see her going, you know what, I actually can do this. And I think it'd be really
She finds a talent for it.
There are so many kids on the street too. I think most of them are going to university or higher education, aren't they? And I think that it's a good thing to have someone like Lauren go, you know what, I was told I was thick, I was told I was stupid, I couldn't understand, school was too hard for me, I didn't get my qualifications, and I thought my life was over because, you know, look at everybody else around me and I felt looked down on. But now I can do something, and it's honest hard work, but I earn money from it, and I'm doing really well, and I can, you know. The thing about, because I used to be a cleaner, the thing about being a cleaner is it's really satisfying because you get your own personal progress bar. You can see your progress as you go. There's nothing wrong with being a cleaner. You make a load of money out of it.
Yeah. It could work.
And also,
as long as it made her kind of feel proud of herself. I just can't.
Yeah,
I just can't
it would
cope
do. This
with
is what I
miserable,
mean. It would give her.
self-pitying Lauren
It's
for much
flexible
longer.
because she's got a kid, and you wouldn't have to explain where the kid's being looked after. She could take her kid with her a lot of the time as well. And she could clean some of the major bits of the street, so she could have a contract with the Rovers. She could have she could hire, if she got really good, she could hire other people, and then you could get other characters working as cleaners, and then you could have them together in scenes.
And also,
there's so many middle class characters on the street who probably would hire a cleaner.
I'm just a little conscious of what we're saying here is this would give Lauren a chance to be in more scenes, and I don't know whether that's necessarily what we want. Because partly some of the ones that are on my list again this year, not for this week's question, I mean, are characters that I feel maybe one of the reasons that I don't love them so much is because of overuse, and I don't know whether I want to have lots and lots of Lauren. But you know, maybe if they turn a corner with her, and I'll be gagging for her more.
You can't fight the system. They've decreed that we're going to have Lauren, so we better use her judiciously.
Well, my next one that I thought of is no surprises, probably is Kit, who I just can't get on with.
Do you know what I think?
What?
Should be a cleaner.
I can't just say that for everybody.
No, but he could reach up high and do all the cobwebs.
He probably could, couldn't he? I just he's been on the show for a good year and a bit now, hasn't he? And I just haven't got into him. He's not an I love to hate him. I just don't enjoy watching this character. And obviously he's been used loads. He was in the top 10 last year, and I think he might be at number 1 at the moment for this year as well. Yeah. So he's just being used
and Lauren's
everywhere.
Very high.
Yeah, no, that's not a surprise. But I don't know what it is. I can't necessarily put my finger on what it is about Kit that I don't really like, other than they're using him too much, and he's just a little bit. I find him quite humourless, you know.
I know what you mean.
He doesn't have much of a joke. He's
the sort of guy that if you were standing in a queue and you said something funny, he'd just look at you like you just farted.
I mean, he looks down on everybody from that height, doesn't he?
It's hard not to.
But I don't really. I kind of semi-like the idea that he's a bent copper, but then on the other hand I don't. And if I'm ever thinking, oh, I don't like Kit today, then I start thinking, oh, Annie's got away with doing this, that and the other. He got away with planting that evidence there, and then that just makes me not like him even more. But I don't know whether there's any story that can come along where he's using his powers of being a bent copper for good, or does he get into a situation where he has the option to do something dodgy, but he doesn't? Is that the kind of character growth that he needs to make me like him? Maybe.
So he could be dodgy, but he chooses not to.
Yeah.
So okay.
He says, no, this isn't the path that I choose to go down. I've been inspired by the law abidingness of Lisa Swain and Jerome Costello. Although, looking at what's going on this week, I don't know how long that's going to last. Or do we have a story where somebody gets transferred to the station who is clearly dodgy and Kit takes him down, and that makes him a bit of a hero? That would be fun. Do we get a proper
another police character,
a proper grizzled? Yeah, it is. It's another police story, isn't it? But can we say what's going to make Kit better is by making him not a police officer anymore, or does he decide? I can't help being a bent copper, so the only possibility for me now is to hand in my badge and become a civilian. And then it's a bit win-win, isn't it?
I don't know what he would do, though. Can you think of him doing any other job?
I'm sure that, that doesn't really matter in Coronation Street, does it? You get a job in the factory or the florist, or he can work in the Rovers and get the pint glasses down from high up shelves.
The optics.
Yeah.
Here's a wild card. What if he went into business with Carla? He would throw spanners in the works there, wouldn't he?
I don't see him as being much of a business brain, especially for things fashion.
No, but I can see him being a numbers guy. I can see him being a negotiator and a tough talker and the thing is, Carla came in to the show and she was very hard-nosed and only cared about business. But obviously, over the years, although she's got that edge to her still, she is more of a people person and she cares, about her staff and she's not as mean. But if Kit came in, he would be that person, and it would be interesting to juxtapose that with how Carla's changed.
Maybe. I'm not a huge fan of the factory and storylines related to what goes in the office on the factory.
But what if there's a shipment that's late?
Putting him in there, I think it's just putting him into an environment that I'm not necessarily a massive fan of. I was wondering, we know that Bethany's going to be coming back soon now that Lucy Fallon's done with her being a mum, back off her maternity.
She's like, this list of Corrie names, too hard for me, I'll give up.
Could she come in and be a bit of a spanner in the works in Sarah and Kit's relationship? I don't want him to start, maybe, is he going to get off with Bethany, or is he going to be a bit pervy around her?
No,
hopefully
thanks.
not,
Gross.
but it wouldn't surprise me. That's certainly not going to ingratiate him to me as a character. He's a real struggle, because almost in the back of my mind, I've kind of put him in a box of I can't possibly ever like this character. So he's a real difficult one, but maybe something that has him open up about his feelings, because he's very closed off kind of chap, isn't he?
I don't need to hear everybody's feelings.
And he's not going to have deep and meaningful conversations with Sarah Louise, because she's not that kind of person either. But that's something that makes him vulnerable. I don't know. I found that one a real struggle, actually. I assume that he's not one of the ones that you consider, because you quite like him.
No, I like him. I think he's good. I wouldn't change him for the world.
Okay, who else were you thinking of?
Theo.
Yeah, that's not a stretch, is it? Again, talking about more recent characters, it's a bit hard, isn't it? He's very one-dimensional, but he has only been in the show for...
He's not one-dimensional. He's just got very many dimensions that are all sucky.
Well, okay, maybe one-dimensional isn't the right word, but at least with a lot of the other characters here, we've got more storylines to draw from as to why we don't like them, and we can say, well, what about if they could go down the route? Remember when they did this? But with Theo, really, and he's actually one of the highest performing characters. I think he's like 11th on the list so far. Well. Unbelievable. But what do we think of when we think of Theo? We think of this story with Todd and just how unlikable he's made himself. And I know it does certainly look like it's going down the more coercive control, domestic abuse kind of angle with Todd. You can still have, I liked Jeff as a character. I really, really enjoyed Jeff, despite the ghastly things that he was doing to Yasmin. And I struggle to see myself liking Theo in the same way if he goes down the same route.
So Leah's question was never, what would you do to make yourself like a character?
No, I know. I mean, but it's very easy to say, oh yeah, Theo, have him arrested.
Catch
or
him
have
on fire.
catch him on fire, or have Danielle come and shoot him through the head.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, but I am a magnanimous person. I want to like characters. But again, he was another one that I really struggled with. Like, what do we know about him? He used to be married to Danielle. He used to be Christian. He's clearly
do you not
into.
think he's still Christian?
I don't know.
I think he is.
I don't know whether he is still, because I think some of the things that he said, when he's talked about it, he's felt like he's completely cut himself off and separated himself.
I wouldn't blame him, but equally, I don't know that it totally follows, because Noah is a bit of a renegade.
But I did kind of ponder over the idea about whether it might be an interesting story, whether I'd like it if he refound his faith, but in a more accepting corner of the church. You know, if he went along to church with Dee Dee or with Billy, and would he kind of see that, you know, Noah's version of Christianity, the version that he grew up with, isn't necessarily the only one, and because it must be horrible for him to be in this position where he kind of was 100% faithful, and these experiences that he's been through with the conversion and all the flashbacks.
When you mean faithful, do you mean religious?
Yeah, and these experiences he's been through have shaken his belief in God, which he had, you know, full trust in. I'm kind of putting ideas and words in his mouth at the moment up to this point, and is his life system. And is his life feeling empty now? I don't know. So it might be that by putting him back on the road and with Dee Dee or somebody to help him, could that be more interesting, in him becoming, you know, I don't want him to become any kind of, you know, hardcore fundamentalist Bible basher kind of Christian, but just finding peace and serenity and happiness in a church could be good. Equally, does he go down another route and, you know, look into a different religion? Coronation Street, as far as I know, has never had a Buddhist character.
That's literally what I was about to say.
Were you? Yeah. Did you think of that yourself?
Yes.
Because I've literally written that down in my notes.
Really?
Here. Theo turns Buddhist.
Do you think he'd look good in orange?
Might do.
I think he would.
Could he have a robe with his arms out?
Yeah. Why not?
I think, you know, that would be the... If that'd be the tipping point. If he wasn't allowed that, then probably that's not the religion for him. Yeah. But a religion of kind of peace and compassion, and I think that could be interesting.
And minding your own business.
So, would you like him to become a Buddhist and go away to one of these silent monasteries in the Himalayas?
Just like
somewhere?
Our scary neighbour, who was got really angry for no reason, and I thought he was going to hit me.
And then he went
because
off
I took a parcel in for him.
And then he went off to become.
And then he
went
to become a Buddhist. So. Yeah. I think maybe it's good for anger management.
I mean, I think that Buddhism is a bit more on the LGBTQ friendly side. Also,
he'd be great for Habitats for Humanity or whatever, going and building like houses in...
That is true.
...countries where they need Buddhists that are good at scaffolding.
Yeah.
They're always crying out for Buddhist scaffolders, aren't they?
Yeah.
Across the globe. Not in Weatherfield though. There's no call for them there.
I believe that it is possible to become a Buddhist and stay living where you're living.
No, I didn't know about this. What do you mean?
But I don't know. Because it's something that I don't particularly know much about.
No.
And I know, you know, like Richard Hawley was a Buddhist, isn't he? And
he was talking all about it.
He was talking all about it, and like you wouldn't necessarily know if he wasn't to tell you about it. So it doesn't. I don't need Theo to become a Buddhist who just goes on about Buddhism all the time. But I think it could be an interesting route to go down.
Do you have to eat
Corrie
things?
likes teaching us things, so maybe teaching us but they're not always good with the religious stories, are they?
There are ethical guidelines that Buddhists strive to follow. Not killing.
Yeah.
And then it says stealing, but I assume it's not stealing.
Presumably.
Engaging in sexual misconduct, lying, or misusing intoxicants.
Okay.
And meditation, and ethical behaviour, and mindfulness. God, it sounds great.
I think that if Theo recognised that he has been a bit of an arse, and yes, he's had horrible things happen to him, but he's also been unpleasant himself to other people, which he has. I think if he were to go on a journey of self-recognition and thinking, actually, I don't want to be that person, then maybe Buddhism could be a path for him to go down. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking into this. I think.
You got anyone else?
The time we finish this podcast, I'm gonna have done this meditation course.
Have you give me some more names? Don't distract yourself.
Okay. Who else? Dislike.
Yeah.
I don't like Brody, and I know they're gonna make me like him.
Also on my list.
I don't think I need to come up with a storyline to make me like him, because I think that Corrie's doing it, and I feel like.
You're being coerced by Coronation Street.
I am.
He just loves his sisters, Gemma.
I'm joining the Rebel Alliance against Brody.
He wants to do the best for Shanice and Joni.
No.
It's all about the family.
No.
Brody's such an odd one. It is similar to Mason, because there was nothing likeable about him in the prison, was there? Or the SCU, or whatever it's called.
He's a cocky little git.
And it literally has been since he's come out, they've said, oh, he's a different person now. And I know we had it with Mason, but it felt a little less jarring with him, his road to redemption. But with Brody, it's just like, no, he's a goodie now. He's been beaten up by Liam, and now you've got to feel sorry for him.
He's Brody's grandson.
And you got to
Bernie's grandson.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And you just got to forget everything that he did that was absolutely despicable to Liam in prison.
What did he do? What was he in for? I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I think Mason was worse. Like, his crimes were worse because we knew what he'd done and who he had done it to.
Yeah.
Whereas Brody was just a scallywag.
He was horribly manipulative. He was trying to get Sean to bring the drugs into prison, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
He was pretending to be friends with Liam so that he could get things out of him. He was just
wasn't
like
in prison for that though.
No. I can't remember what he did. But he's just, incredibly sly and unlikable. But I
you don't know no better though, does he?
Like you, I'm feeling that I don't think it's going to be too much to be able to, for Coronation Street to change my views on him.
I want to be contrarian, not fall for their evil plans again. I'm sick and tired of being manipulated.
I see. I was thinking, like, because I don't like Kit, I would think it would certainly do an awful lot in Brody's favour were he to be the one that take down Kit, in discover what a scallywag he's been up to at work, and because they're clear. This is, I suppose, one thing that they're trying to do with Kit at the moment, to try and make us sympathise with him more, to say, oh, like, he just wants to know his son, and Brody's being so resistant to it. But it's like, if I was Brody, I'd be the same. He's horrible. So if Brody were to find out something that Kit had been up to, which is not necessarily going by the book, and he had a bit of a dilemma about what I should do about it, but then he shopped his dad and said, no, you know what, I told you I didn't want anything to do with you, now I know. Because Kit has done some terrible, terrible things, and he's a responsible adult, supposedly. So having Brody take him down, I think that would certainly put him a peg up or two for me.
What if Brody did something wrong, and then Kit covered for him, and then Brody recognised that he could take his dad down, and so he kind of like shot himself in the foot to shoot Kit in the head?
Maybe. Debbie, did you have any ideas?
I don't know why his foot is on Kit's head when he's so tall.
Did you have any particular ideas for what you wanted to do to Brody?
I think that they're going to try and make him like, oh, Brody is a good kid after all. Oh, he's only young and he was misguided and he's so nice now, and we should be like, if I was Corrie, I'd just make him work for Debbie and be Debbie's little lackey, and then you'd love him in about a week, because if Debbie likes him, you'd like him.
I think if they tried to give a bit more humour to him, that wouldn't be a bad shout.
There's a lot of humourless people on Coronation Street.
There really, really are.
They need to get some more comedy jokers.
Yeah, not idiots, not that kind of funny, but people that are actually like witty characters. Funny. I think that's what Corrie needs more. Maybe if they were to go,
good at that.
Yeah, exactly. David's good at it. If they were to take some of that energy that David and Shona have got and give it into Brody, that wouldn't be a bad shout. I was kind of thinking, if they want to kind of soften him up even more, then obviously give him a girlfriend. It's got to happen at some point that he's going to have a girlfriend. So whether this is, Asha, although she'd obviously be dead against it at the moment, she might have something that happens that changes her mind.
Can't see them together at all.
Or Amy, although he's a bit Aaronish, isn't he?
He's too
the looks
he's
department.
too arrogant, and he seems like a very masculine, like as in concerned with only manly pursuits.
I don't know.
I can't imagine him going, Amy, what film do you want to watch? I can imagine him going, Amy, is football on? So.
Yeah, but I think we don't know enough about him that if they were to introduce some other hidden talent or softer side, or
like crocheting,
well, maybe he's into art, or maybe he's a talented musician, or something like that.
Oh God, it makes my stomach turn.
I know. I'm just trying to, they wanting to go down the softening Brody up route, and I'm just trying to think of ways that it could work.
I know what they're going to do. They're going to have, when it turns out he's such a talented violinist that when they have another summit with Zelensky and Putin, he gets selected to play a beautiful musical piece,
well,
and it causes them both to realise that they are actually friends and stop the war, and it is all Brody and his incredible talents.
Maybe you could do a duet with Amy on the fiddle.
Yeah.
And then they could fall hopelessly in love after that.
Like that.
They could serenade each other.
Like that brilliant advert.
What advert? Young at Heart, yeah. I was wondering, like, how about a story where Brody looks like he's doing something shifty, and you see him like at the night ducking in.
Did this.
No, but look where I'm getting with this. Ducking into alleys, and he's skipping out on things, and he's supposed to be meeting up with somebody, but he doesn't, and he's kind of going back on his. And it turns out that he's looking after a box of abandoned kittens or something. He could be like a real softie for little cute animals.
This is what would get me, right? If he was like, oh, I just love kittens, and I found this mummy kitten and she died, so I'm looking after the babies, don't tell anyone. But like, you, Coronation Street, you absolute bunch of bastards. Of course I like him now.
Because he's obviously got, with what we're seeing with Shanice and Joni, he's got this protective side to him. Maybe
that could be his thing, is that he likes animals.
Yeah.
And then we could, because what Corrie's got this problem with, I think, is having regular pets, because there's clearly some kind of problem or difficulty with procuring the same animals. I don't know what the problem is, but maybe it would be easier to just get a random pet. Like, we don't care what it is. It doesn't matter. It could be a budgie, it could be a donkey, whatever. We just need an animal for this scene. And then he'll look after it. And then eventually he could be a vet. Because there's no vets on Coronation Street.
There are no vets. There is the vet, that we've had a vet's set, haven't we? When poor Eccles was put to sleep.
And
Cerberus, It's turning into a bit of a Scott Evil character. Like, just want to have a petting zoo.
An evil petting zoo?
No, Dad, no kids. I just want to have.
It could be like, yeah, lads, yeah. I knew that, even though you're not my real, you're not my biological kid.
I think that. Okay, so we're totally changing his character at this point.
They're not changing his character. He just has been secretly
loving pets and animals and poor innocent helpless. Okay, so there we go. You can open up a pet shop,
like one of them sad pigeons that's only got 1 foot.
Yeah, there we go.
They make me so sad.
That's gonna make me love Brody a little bit more. Who else you got? Any other characters?
I've got loads of people, but I'm not really.
So I don't have that many more. Like I was saying, there's characters that
Who do I not like?
Most...
I really don't like Chesney. Sorry, but I don't like you, Chesney.
Do you not?
He's just such a waste of space.
See, he's one of the characters where I think, I do like Chesney. I just don't like what they've done to Chesney. And I don't like the stories that Chesney has. Which is why...
relentless misery.
So what are you gonna do to solve that one then?
Right, here you go. How about this? Put your money where your mouth is. Stop talking about it and do it. Chesney, start your burger company.
Oh yeah, the Chesburger.
One of the things that we really liked about Chesney when he was little is that he had his little stout stall, and when he was, he was a kid, and then he grew up a bit, and his dream was to, have a little pet shop and do all that stuff, and then he gave it up because it was too exciting for the character. But he's talking about, the food stuff he does, and he went to that food show, and he's talking about his Chesburger. Why don't they just have a burger van? Everyone, you remember I don't know if you might listen to this out of order if you're a podcast listener, but last week on the regular show we talked about the cabin, and Michael said that he thinks it's done and dusted and we should get rid of it.
I did say that.
And loads of people actually agreed with you and said that they think that the set is tired and old and you don't need 2 shops. So why not make that? And you said you wanted it to be another food place, which is to me ridiculous, but let's go with it. Why doesn't he open a little burger shop?
I don't think that Coronation Street can sustain yet another fast food place, though. We've got Prima Donna, we've got For Your Fries Only.
Well, we never see For Your Fries Only, and we don't see Prima Donna very much. But if he opens a little burger shop, at the very least, you get a story out of it where he's a rival with Dev. Yeah. And if you played it as a comedy one, it'd be quite good. Whether
or not the cabin stays, like once Rita is gone, and I know that it's, Brian's shop now and Jenny's there.
Yeah.
But whoever owns that business next. Let's say the cabin was closed and they say, right, we're going to open it as a something. They really have to put a legacy character in such a prominent building, wouldn't they? They couldn't just say, oh yeah, Brody's taken over this for his pet shop now.
Do you know what would have been perfect, but sadly they've already crapped the bed on it?
What?
Debbie opening a little clothing boutique.
Yes. Oh, that would be good.
She would have been great, like dressing people up for events and selling silly little earrings.
I think that it's not out of the question, is it, to go back and have that kind of shop? Because
they need a clothes shop or something.
In the proud tradition of back in the early days of Corrie, you had Swindley's Drapery, you had Gamma Garments, wasn't it? You had Miami Modes as well, where Elsie and Dot.
Front.
Yeah. So you do get clothes shops on the street. These are one of the only shops that you get. Maybe you don't get them on residential streets, but hey.
The trouble with it is the stock would never change. It would cost way too much money to change the stock.
But I wouldn't look out for things like that.
You wouldn't, but everyone else would.
Yeah, that'd be fine for me.
I don't think ITV's got the budget to buy 10 jumpers the same colour.
Maybe Corrie fans can donate their clothes.
But why a charity shop would work in there? A charity shop. They've got the front of.
You got your Gregory Pope, haven't you?
Just a charity shop.
Maybe
it'd just be full of crap. They've got a warehouse full of crap on site.
Yeah, rather than giving it away to on ITV Reloved.
Well, they don't have to do that, but stop doing that. But a crap shop. I mean that's what Barlow's Buys was really.
Yeah.
Remember when they kept trying to sell that copy of Windows 94 or whatever it was?
94, 95.
What was it then?
95.
Oh, 95, sorry. What an idiot.
God, yeah. Who's ever heard of Windows 94? I got Carl on my list. I don't know whether you considered him.
Well, I did, but I thought everyone hates Carl.
Yeah. But I
you're
feel
to
like
like him.
We're supposed to...
You're supposed to not like him. So
is he not supposed to be a lovable rogue? I don't know.
Really? I think
he's just so
unlikable.
unlikable. And Abby clearly sees something good about him. Quite often I'm left thinking, am I supposed to be rooting for these two as a couple? I don't know.
Why does he owe all this money? He's clearly a criminal.
I wonder whether the best route for him would be to just make him go all in on the dodgy side and turn him into a massive villain, because he's such a low-key baddie at the moment doing these dodgy MOTs.
Like, I'm in your
Do we turn
knickers.
Carl into the next Corrie serial killer? I don't know. I don't think that would work quite. They had Stephen, who was the quiet and character that nobody really thought that much of, and he was a little bit boring. Then they turned him into a serial killer. I don't think they could do the same with Carl, but maybe trying to go down more a villainous path would work more than him. Or I don't know. One thing that I thought of with Carl, which could be good for his character, because if you look at if you know your Corrie lore, which of course I know you do, Gemma, that when Bill and Maureen got together in the late 90s and she ran away from Fred after she got married to him, they went to Germany to live so that he could be nearer to Carl. So I think we're supposed to believe that Maureen played quite, a key part in Carl's upbringing when he was a teenager. And I don't know where... I guess he was still living with, what was her name? Elaine, his mum at the time. But I think that, bring back Maureen...
Interesting.
I don't know, but who needs an excuse
like
for Coronation Street to do this? Like the meddling stepmom. And, having her coming in, and then you got Kevin there,
That'd be so funny if that
that's going to
happens.
be awkward because of the breakup of the relationship between Maureen and Bill, and then Kevin's. I don't know. I think Sherry Houston is still working, isn't she? So I'd say bring back Maureen, and if she's got some kind of dodgy dirt on Carl. Did he get up to something when he was a teenager? I don't need a flashback to Germany in the early 2000s for that.
She's 74.
Yeah, there we go.
And her most recent television credit was...
Don't say Benidorm.
2024.
Oh, there we go.
She was in Hollyoaks. She's in Hollyoaks now.
Oh, yeah, she is, isn't she? So I say, bring back Maureen.
Take her out Hollyoaks.
Have her either make Carl a lot more fun, or take him down.
What a great idea, Michael.
Any others that you want to...
No, they're just people...
So many of mine are just characters that have only debuted in the show in the last 12 months. I feel so bad about it.
Well,
but...
Corrie did it, not us.
I know,
Do you
but
make a distinction between I dislike somebody or I don't like them?
Well, I don't know, what do you mean?
Because, like, some people I just don't like them, right? But I don't dislike them. Like Alia, I don't like Alia, but I don't dislike Alia. I just don't like her.
Yeah, okay.
Because
yeah,
there's
you can
loads more
actively...
characters that I don't like.
I suppose that's like what I was saying at the beginning. That Alia is a good example. Both Chesney is as well. There's quite a few characters that I'm just like,
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be a scene with you in, is it? But I don't hate them. It's just I don't always trust
they haven't given
that
me
Coronation
like
Street knows how to make anything these characters do a fun and engaging kind of story. Unfortunately, like the scenes that we've had this week with when Dee Dee and Adam and Alia get around a table. Like, what on earth can you do in that scene to make it into a brilliant scene? I don't know.
They're talking about important lawyer things.
Oh, it's so dull. And Sarah's lovely from what little I've spoken to her. And so Shanique, I've never met Sam Robinson. I don't actively dislike the characters, although I will say that I think I really did love the old Adam a lot more when he was played by Inda Kerstacker when he was a teenager, a younger teenager. Yeah. But
I have they weren't just talking about lawyer things, they were also talking about childcare, which is another thing that we really like hearing about.
But they just haven't done enough with those characters to make me like them. But so I've not included them on my list because I don't dislike them. They don't spark joy in me particularly. No, but we've
what they say. Marie Kondo says, if it doesn't spark joy, get rid of it.
Well, they do need a cast call if the papers are to
well,
believe,
exactly.
Don't they? So I've got a few ideas thrown out there. So any Corrie writers that are listening want to take any of those and just give me or Gemma a credit. I'm perfectly happy with that.
We say you need a cast call and everything. I don't like the idea of people losing their jobs, and certainly I don't think anyone's beyond redemption. All the actors are only playing a part. They've been, written. The part's been written for them. There's a lot of them are managed to make more than the sum of its parts out of their characters, but there's limitations.
Some actors, and I'm not naming any names here, sometimes feel like they're going through the motions because they're probably also similarly unenthused with some of the material that they're given.
Not everything is the most exciting thing.
No. But we got a few ideas there.
I think we've come up with some really good ones, actually. What
Leah,
do you guys think? Leah, did we answer your question?
I think we answered it more thoroughly than we did the baby name question. Although,
oh, for goodness sake, what can you say about a baby name?
Well, it's given our listeners a bit of insight into what we'd be thinking were the miraculous thing to happen.
Whatever baby we'd have, we'd just call it the baby. And then when it was older, we'd call it the kid. And then when it is older, we just still call it the kid.
Yeah.
So
sorry, kid, you should have been born a cat.
Maybe we could name it after Billy.
Billy?
The kid.
Oh, yeah. Yes, listeners, have you got any characters that you don't like, but you've got just an idea? You dislike.
Yeah.
But you've got an idea for what you would want Corrie to do with them to make them more likeable.
And it's not set them on fire.
Yes, you got to be sensible with it.
Be sensible.
Because I think, we
already set Anna on fire and it didn't work.
Most of the things that we suggested here could actually happen, weren't they? They weren't completely outrageous suggestions.
What did I say about Tim? I forgot. Oh yeah, apologise for being an arsehole.
They just need to say sorry.
Yeah.
Just make him say sorry.
Tell you what,
that's easy.
I will even accept a handwritten letter specifically just to me. Okay, you don't have to put it on screen. I'll accept a handwritten letter. It has to be done by
Can it be from Stuart Blackburn or whoever it was that made Tim into the character that you've despised for the last decade?
And I need it to be signed off by Sally Devener to say, yeah, I've accepted
Apology
this.
accepted.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
That's fine. I don't mind.
Right. We're going to call it a day there, I think. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the listening questions. It feels like it's nice to have a proper chat and
we have a nice chat, don't we?
And we're not just kind of reading notes off of things, which is what sometimes our other podcasts can turn into somewhat. But anyway,
other podcasts that we do.
That listener question there felt a little bit more like what we do for our patrons once a month, isn't it? Where we come up with our top fives or what have you.
Oh God, when's our next one?
It's all right. We still got a week and a half.
No, we don't, because we've got stuff to do.
Oh, we'll be okay.
We're not going to be around.
We'll be able to do it next week. It's fine. Right, we're going anyway. Thank you for listening. We'll see you at the end of the week for our thoughts on this week's Coronation Street. Have any of you
and how offended are
named your children after Coronation Street characters? And not just have they got coincidental names. How many of you have said, I like this character, I'm going to name my character that? Or you can tell us about your pets if you like.
And sorry to all the Tracys and...
We've already said it. Look, you don't
and...
need to apologise twice. You just feel like a groveller then.
I will never grovel to a Tracy.
Right, goodbye. We're going. Ta-ra. Goodbye.
Bye.